Welcome, humans. So, I have a question for y'all. Do you think, let's say, your dog steals something from someone else's yard? Do you think you should get charged with theft? 100%. Like, you're a responsible dog owner. Normally, your dog doesn't get out, but for whatever reason that day, let's say you had some issues with like your electricity and they needed to open the back door. Okay. And your dog gets out because they opened the back door and they didn't reclose it before your dog got out. And your dog steals something from someone else's lawn, brings it back and start, playing with it. Should you be responsible for your dog's actions? Should you get theft charges because your dog got out, even if it wasn't your fault and your intention, but got out and stole some bone that's in their yard, in their front yard, and they grabbed it? Should you get theft charges? Should you get trespassing charges? Let's say if your dog is running amok, because again, it got out, not like you were standing right there, but someone had to come in and do some work on your house or whatever. They left the freaking gate open. Your dog got out and is trespassing all through the neighborhood. Should you get charged for that? Do you think the dog owners should be charged for that? And then we could go to say, what about cat owners? Cats just roam around and do whatever the fuck they want, right? And I'm actually really curious to see what you guys have to say over this, because someone is getting charged with what their dog did. Is it right to get charged for something your dog did? And with that note, we need to also say, where does the line stop? So if you say, yes, but only if they attack. Yes, but only if they do this. Yes, but only if they do. Where is that line? Okay. And then there could be another argument that people are saying is, well, then are parents responsible for their child's actions? I mean, if your kid breaks a window, you're going to have to repay for it. If you end up being like, hey, kid, I want you to work for me until you repay that back. And where does it hit? Where does it hit labor laws as well? There is a 7-year-old girl in Louisiana who she was killed. So this dog owner is now getting charged with murder. Is that right? Legit. Do you think that's right? Let's go into it a little bit more. Now, again, the 7-year-old was a minor, so there isn't a lot on here. They arrested the dog owner for failing to restrain the animal. Okay, I could see that and that charge. On top of that, they have now charged them with homicide because of failing to restrain their animal. So, what about school shooters and kids shooters? You're responsible for your dog's actions, and what about your child's actions? Are you responsible for them as well? Or is it that you can say, I 100% have done everything I could to restrain my animal or teach my child right, but they did it anyway? Like, where's that line? East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office responded to reports of the dog attacking on Friday night. Okay, and it said it was posted on Facebook. I don't know if there's any more than this one, but this one says update: dog owner charged with neglect homicide for failing to restrain the dog and leaving it to roam the neighborhood. Again, though, was this dog just like, does it do it often? Was it like just chilling, or was this a one-time thing that the dog got out? Because my dogs have gotten out before. My dogs have never attacked a human being, but I'm saying, like, all right, so they are investigating the attack. So they were contacted, East Baton Rouge Sheriff Department, which is EBRSO. So they were contacted by EMS and the St. George Fire Department this evening at 6:35 in a press conference. A reference, to a dog attacking a small child in the block of 2500 block of Kendallwood Road. 7-year-old was transported to the hospital, later passed away from her injuries. This is awful and heartbreaking, said the sheriff. My heart goes out to the families. East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Department homicide is currently investigating the case. The dog in custody updates will be provided as available. So someone else posted, like, charging these people is not enough. There needs to be a ban on pit bulls across the board. How many children and people have died to understand that these are not pet. Okay, that pit bulls kill literally billions of children every year. Yeah, Chihuahuas actually, in my personal experience, has been terrible with Chihuahuas. The thing is, too, is with pit bull, it's so broad now. Like, someone mixes a lab with pit, and then they're going to call it a pit. Okay, so yeah, a pit bull does. Okay, not billions of children each year. It is 284 people over a 13-year period. A lot of times they will attack because they have been bred to attack, and because they also have been in this negative environment. Rottweiler, German. Oh, damn, German Shepherds. I wonder if they're counting police dogs, though. Bull Mastiff. Within a 13-year span, it's been less than 300. And you got to think, like, German Shepherds have attacked my dog more than any other breed. I've had labs. Labs have attacked and harmed my boxer more than any other dog. Any other dog that I have personally known. And in particular, it has been yellow labs. So pit bulls, though, too, you've got to think and have into account of how many pit bulls are actually fighting dogs. The husky across the street is the one that bit Loki's ear and so made it so that he has the chunk out of his ear. The dog is beat up, but not from pit bulls and not from any bully breeds, but from huskies and labs. You know what? Sometimes dogs will say, "Hey, you're in my territory," like, and you need to know how to act around dogs. Like, I think that's a big thing. That too, they can get aggressive, but also I think I've noticed a big thing. So, as you do, Pippin, you take your dog out a lot. You have your service dog. I take my dog out a lot too because I would like to train my dog to be a service dog. I'd like to train her to be a service dog. So I take her out a lot, okay? So it's so funny to me, like, grown ass adults won't even ask, like, "Hey, is it okay if I pet your dog?" They just go up. But, like, teenage kids will. And normally, like, the littler kids don't really, they're still like, "Oh, I don't know," unless, like, a parent is right there or a big brother, whatever. But it's like the adults, they're just like, "Oh, cute puppy!" Homicide detectives learned the girl was playing outside of a relative's home when a neighbor dog was a terrier mix. So those are like ones that like cover their eyes, right? Or are they the little yappy ones? Equals pit bull? I wouldn't say that. I'd say they're more smaller dogs, right? A terrier mixes a crossbreed between a terrier and another dog. So they can be bigger, a little bit bigger. Yeah, they're like littler dogs. Okay, so like this one's bigger. I think my neighbors right across the street, the Yorkshire Terriers, that is what my neighbor has. Those are a little bit bigger. Like those are like this, and then that one's a bull terrier. So that's like the target dog, right? Which is still not a pit bull. That is a bull terrier. They can be very big. See, they can be. So like my neighbor has one like this, but he's all like black. So they can be big. That right there is a pit bull? No. This? Oh, it's not. It's an English bull terrier. An English bull terrier is not a pit bull. Bigger terriers. Like, see, you can have small and big terriers. So, and it doesn't say if it was a big terrier or a small terrier. It just says a freaking terrier. Stop by striking the dog with a cane. However, the small dog continued to maul the victim in the front yard. Here's another thing too. Like, I understand, like, you don't get between dog fights, but if my 7-year-old, even my 8-year-old right now, was getting attacked by a damn dog, you bet your ass I'm getting in the middle of that. I don't give a shit what kind of dog it is. To sit there and be like, let's just whack it with a cane. Who's at fault there? Like, we could be going on the other side of this and being like, the parents weren't watching them so closely or didn't protect them, instead of making it so that the dog parent is getting charged with homicide. Viciously attacked. Someone has to have this on their Ring doorbell to see if. Okay. Also, investigators said the dog's residence was 150 yards from when the girl was attacked. The dog owner is at fault if the dog was out. Okay, so the dog was seen like roaming the neighborhood, but what if they had some maintenance done on their house or something and the gate was left open and it wasn't their fault that the dog got out? Is the dog owner then responsible? 150 yards where the girl was attacked. The owner was not home when the attack happened, but the owner has admittedly saying the dog is unrestrained and would often roam the neighborhood property when the attack happened. No fence to bury or confine the dog at the home. Okay. Okay. Dude, fucking fence your dog. Fence your fucking dog. Like, that's one there. Okay. In this instance, I would 100% say that the owner was in the wrong for just letting their dog roam the neighborhood. With that defense, as like if I was like an attorney, I'd be like, okay, so if this dog has been roaming the neighborhood, I don't know for how long, but let's say it was a year or so. As the neighbors, you probably know that dog roams around. Just saying, you probably know that the dog roams around. And at that point, are you at fault? Because you know that this dog is constantly, every day, roaming around your neighborhood and you're not out front with your kid. Let's just cane at it away. I'm sorry, but what? Now I understand too, little kids' screams a lot of times, they sound like playing a lot. So, like if you were inside and you didn't see it, but they saw it. They obviously freaking saw it. Like, they saw it happening. All right, so I'm gonna ask this question again. like, you're a responsible dog owner. You normally always chain them up. You always like have the fence. And then someone comes in to work on your house or whatever, and then doesn't close the gate. And then because you're always used to having the gate closed and it was closed. And then your dog roams out and like say steal something from someone else's front yard and then brings it back home. Can you be charged with theft and trespassing? Or is there like a line? And at what point was it the parents' responsibility to make sure that their kid was being safe? And I would like to see, I'm not saying this is right, but I'm saying I would like to see, did she provoke the dog? And what if there was a point like that she was, I'm not saying this happened because I don't freaking know. I'm just saying, what if like she abused the dog? Is that then self-defense in the dog's case? Because then it's abuse. I'd say no. Trespassing, I'm not sure I'd say no, but like property and the trespassing, so maybe there's so many variables. I would say yes because you're on the see? Like, okay, so this man is being charged for homicide because his dog killed this girl. But like, okay, so is that the tipping point if your dog attacks someone that you're gonna get like charged with? Or is it trespassing? Theft? Like if your dog steals, I don't know, a friggin' piece of clothing that's been sitting on your yard for so long and just comes by and grabs it and takes it to their house, like, and then does that come into play too with humans saying like, okay, so it would have to be in your case like an all or nothing. Like if a dog gets out and steals someone's stuff, then it's your fault, right? Okay, what about, okay, but at the same time, okay, so if a child did that, let's say, I don't know, a freaking toddler was outside in the front yard and then went to a neighbor's house and, you know, saw a toy or whatever that was playing on the front yard maybe earlier that year from someone else, brought it over to your house. Exactly, children are like dogs. So they brought it over to your house. Then do you, as the parent, are you responsible just to give the item back, or are you going to now face criminal charges? And what about like all these kids that are freaking shooting up schools, and like that one 6-year-old that shot his teacher and now she's in like critical condition. So that boy in particular has been arrested and tried as he's being tried as an adult. But what about the parents? Do they get in trouble for that? What if she actually does die? Do they get murder charges? Do they get neglect of a child? Right? Okay, authorities in Utah say a husky attacked a 4-year-old boy and ripped off his arm. Oh my God. Authorities in Utah say a husky attacks a 4-year-old boy, ripping his arm off and presumably swallowing it. What? And now missing the now missing limb. So they think that it's gone because, oh my God, the child whose identity has not been released wanted to play with the neighbor's 2 huskies, Leighton, and stuck his arm underneath the chain link fence. The boy had a sock on his right arm when one of the dogs bit into its forearm and tore off about 3 inches above his wrist. We have not found it in the backyard. Our fear is that it has been ingested by the dog. Animal control took both dogs into custody and are investigating the incident. I think this is one of those instances, that child play moments where dogs have been in the backyard many times. He's seen them, maybe even done something similar with them, but for whatever reason, this turned into a tragic tragedy today. Holy shit, dude. And in that instance, guess what? I guarantee you, probably both of those dogs got put down. They did. See? Like, I'm sorry too. Dogs are family members, and if you are going to put down murder my fucking dogs because your kid put your hand under my fence, how is that right? How is that right? Yeah, the kid lost his arm. Guess what? He was in the dogs were locked up. The fucking dog parents did everything possible. Like, that pisses me off. That pisses me off.